very interesting that I did not F around, but it's time for me and my school district to find out. Hold. So let me explain. Too long. Let me sum up. On July 7th, we as a school got an email from our administration saying, hey, the school district has approved 15 people to get 8 hours each professional development time money. $20 an hour, first come, first serve, let me know. Now, this is not new, especially since these two have taken over. They've really understood the idea of we don't work for free. We done with that? So they've really been pushing for, when we're at school, especially, and if you have to be at school to get paid, but when we're at school, working actively to prepare for the next year, especially things like, because we just got LEAP scores in, it's a little easier now to react and see, well, this is the type of kid I'm getting in. Okay. Anywho's, that was July 7th. Yesterday, I see the email. I reply. I'm like, hey, yeah, I if somebody hasn't taken that spot, give it. 8 hours isn't a ton, but $160 before tax, better in my pocket than others. Fast forward. It's almost 7 o'clock last night. We get an email. Hold. Good evening. We just received word regarding an important update regarding federal title grant allocations. Fast forward, per the district, the U.S. Department of Education is currently conducting a temporary review, which has resulted in a delay of title grant allocations to the Louisiana Department of Education. Consequently, we are implementing an immediate freeze on all title funding obligations until further guidance is received from ED. We will communicate additional information as it becomes available. Now, this is a bit of a surprise, considering Louisiana last year, in its last legislative session, in the regular legislative session last year, voted that Louisiana teachers were being asked to put in a lot of overtime hours and not getting fairly compensated for them. So they had the districts redo their job descriptions, which magically got done in like 2 weeks or less. We can't get districts to do anything that fast, but anywho's. And all the things that we used to do that could get us compensated every now and then were all of a sudden added to our job description. Anywho's, I digress. It still does give a lot of leeway for teachers to get professional development money and stuff like that, because you're really asking them to better themselves for no good reason, usually because of district mandate, and not being paid for it. So this is one of those things where we use that that idea to get our teachers 10, 20 hours of PD in June and July for each physical year, 10 per year. And okay. This is also not very surprising, however, because on July 1st, Louisiana, along with every other state, did not receive their initial federal funding that they were always given on July 1st. Interesting. Very interesting. All of a sudden makes sense that I got my money from student summer teaching in June instead of July. Makes you wonder who knew what before. But so, timeline. For years now, our district has started understanding teachers don't work for free, adopts the new changes to the job description to get rid of a lot of the excess ways that people used to get paid, but still have been paying people for professional development, summer school, etc. They've also, for the last few years, done a summer feeding program. For 6 weeks, you get a box of food to help feed your kid, any kid under the age of 18. I mean, any kid, even if they're like age 1, 2. It's great. Trust me. And several other things. The big, beautiful bill that just passed saw cuts to K-12 that would likely include title funding, summer feeding programs, after-school tutoring, etc. So am I surprised to get this email? No. Do I think our district will get us that money? Maybe. If the federales and Miss Secretary A1 decide that we are deserving of title funds, they're going to give it to the July teacher. And by that, I mean, it later says in the email that if you still are going to do it, do all the paperwork, and if the funds become available, you'll be the first paid. Which means they'll initially pay every person in July that works. But as far as funding goes for August, September, October, November, December, January, February, onward, nah, boo. So what is that going to mean? Well, most likely, one of two things is going to happen. In the public sector, educators are going to continually burn out faster and faster because, yet again, you're now asking for an educator, most of which have 1 to 3 degrees of varying nature, to pay for their own stuff and to continually do 3 to 5 extra jobs at a pay for less than 1 or barely 1. If that's the case, they're going to burn out faster in the public sector, leading to more charter schools wrapping them up and saying, but we can pay you more and you'll do less. Isn't that great? Or an educator's just going to say, hey, I am paid to teach. I know what I'm doing is working. I'm not going to kill myself doing other bunch of stuff. And all the extra stuff that they do is just going to start dwindling. So your highly effective teachers may start dropping down to effective. Your effective are going to be proficient and on. And you'll get rid of those that are not meant for this job, that are doing less, but at what cost? Because those, emerging effective teachers could have been built up to highly effective, given the right scenarios. But more likely, they're going to be the first ones to dwindle out and burn out. Now, a lot of empathetic teachers are not just going to give up and not just going to stop doing, but they're going to be the ones that burn out faster. Because they're going to keep doing the extra, going the extra mile, still doing all the extra work. Because if they don't, they feel like they're not doing their job right. So that's where we're at. Louisiana teachers especially, though, do need to watch because your legislators promised you that you deserved extra money. So now that the federal government decides that we're not getting extra money, they better start coughing it up. Jeff Landry talked about doing a special session. Guess what needs to be on the agenda now, bud?